Hey guys, welcome to Biker Talk. When Swiss frame designer and motorcycle racer Fritz Egli took a Vincent Black Shadow engine and dropped it into one of his own frames, he created a really special motorcycle. In today's episode, I talked to Dave about his 1969 Egli Vincent.
My name's Dave. I've been riding motorcycles now for 40 years. Of course, when I was a kid I had a push bike and I lived on my push bike, and then my parents moved out to the bush, and one of the carrots to convince me to move from all my friends was a dirt bike. So my father bought me a dirt bike, and then every day I rode that bike. As soon as I came home from school, out the bush. When I got my bike licence, I pulled up out the front of the police station, and the guy walked out and he says, okay, go up there, turn right, go up to the end of the street, turn right, go up the end of the street, turn right, come back and park here. Now, he couldn't see me after the first right turn, but I guess he figured if he can get back around and still be alive, he can ride. That was it, I got my licence. So it's good that it's the way it is now, and it's brought a lot more people into riding, especially women. They're short runs. I call them milkshake runs because basically I ride to a place where I can go and buy a milkshake. I've done a little bit of riding into town with some people from the Sydney Cafe races, or I'm in a vintage bike club that I ride with a little bit, but for 99% of the riding I do is alone, and it's just to clear my head basically. Usually, particularly with the road bikes, I'll do a few track days a year just at Eastern Creek. And then there's one event at Wakefield Park. It's the Amaru Park Revival Meet. Just reliving the history and bringing the history of the bikes back to life is my main focus. I'm really interested in history, and I love the stories that go with the items that I collect. And by using them, I'm bringing those stories back to life. And that's what drives me to race the road bikes. I've become this crazy collector, and I've been a collector all my life since I was a kid. It didn't matter whether it was toys, push bikes, cars, boats. If I thought it was cool, I had to have it. And luckily I've been fortunate enough to have the hand skills to bring things back from the dead. Currently I've got a 1968 Harley Davidson, which is my first road bike, which I've had since I was 19. I've got a Ducati 851. I've got a 1971 Ducati 450 Mark III, 1974 Ducati Scrambler 450, the Egli Vincent, which is my most recent purchase. Actually, it's not. I managed to find another IT 125 to actually get the first ever motorbike I had because I just wanted that. I've got several dirt bikes. I've got a 1936 Royal Enfield and the Manx Norton and the AJS7R, the 54 AJS7R. This is a 1969 Egli Vincent. I first saw one of these about 6 years ago at the Barry Sheen Memorial. Usually a person that goes around a show might spend 10 or 15 seconds looking at something and walking off. I found myself going back constantly over the whole weekend checking out that bike. And I said to my mates at the time, I'm going to buy one of those, and they all laughed at me. So for the last 6 years I've been completely obsessed with anything with a Vincent engine in it. But I didn't want a stock standard Vincent, so it had to be a performance bike. So it either had to be a Northern or an Egli, which is a featherbed with a Vincent engine fitted to it. So anyway, I put it out of my mind because they were so expensive that it just was illogical to throw that much money at a motorbike. Anyway, last year I had an accident on my other Ducati, and I got pretty hurt. And then I found out I was suffering from another illness that was going to, potentially take me out. So when I got out of hospital, my wife said, "What are you doing next?" I said, "I'm buying that Egli." So then I started searching the world, and I put an ad on Facebook with a wanted of the types of motorcycles I was looking for. And then I got offered 3 bikes here that weren't suitable, And then a gentleman in England rang me up and said, I've got one that I don't ride anymore. So we did the deal, and 6 or 7 weeks ago it turned up, and I've done 2,000 miles on it since. Vincent stopped producing motorcycles in 1955. They just weren't selling very well, and they were kind of a bit outdated, even though they were claimed to be the fastest motorcycle in the world, which, having ridden one now, I can confirm that. They're just unbelievably powerful for such a dinosaur of a design. A Swiss motorcycle racer named Fritz Egli decided he could reinvent the wheel, and he went and bought up as many of the Vincent engines as he could find, created his own frame, kind of in the similar vein to the Manx Norton, and with that new frame went on to win the Swiss Hill Climb Championship, and then again gave the Egli Vincent another 10 or 15 years of competitiveness on the track. Anyway, Fritz decided he'd market these motorcycles and sell them, and they've been accepted as a motorcycle in their own right, not just a custom. So they've got a similar geometry to a 900 SS Ducati. They handle like they're on rails. I just jumped on that motorcycle and rode it like I've been riding it my whole life. I can't believe how in tune I am with the bike. It just goes to show how great the design is and how Fritz Egli got it right first time. The engine's actually a 1955 Vincent Black Shadow engine. It's been up-spec to Black Lightning's specifications. It's probably got about 80 horsepower to 100 horsepower. It's a 1000cc V-twin. It's fantastic. It's got Fontana racing brakes on it, which were the pinnacle of drum brake technology of the day. I might repaint it just to personalise it a bit, but at this point in time I'm kind of liking the fact that Rolly Free's riding with me. The first time that a Vincent went over 150 miles an hour, and he did it in his swimming costumes, and with the leathers on he did 148, and when he stripped down he did 150.3, and that record run established Vincent's claim to be the fastest motorcycle in the world, and they proudly display that on their Speedo with 150 mile an hour Speedo. So I haven't done 150 on that. I don't think I've got the balls to go that fast on it. I'm a collector. You've got this, that's the worst question you could ever ask somebody like me. The one motorcycle I'd have to have, a V8 Guzzi, a Grand Prix Guzzi. I'd love one of those, but it's basically unattainable. A green frame Ducati for something that might be attainable if I had a couple of $100,000 to spend on another motorbike. I mean, this one's cleaned me out, so I'll have to pull my head in for a while now. A Brough Superior, you've asked the wrong person. One more motorcycle, because if I could, I'd buy another 100 motorcycles if I could, and I might.
Dave is obviously a really passionate motorcycle collector, so look out for another episode of Biker Talk featuring Dave and the story and history of his Manx Norton. If you like this episode, please leave a like and subscribe, and remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can ride a motorcycle, and that's kind of the same thing.